right, well, we'd like to welcome everyone to our podcast, the new Homeowner 101.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you've joined us before, we'd like to welcome you back. If this is your first episode with us, my name is Nick, and this is my wife, Natalie. And so, as the name of the podcast suggests, we are new homeowners. This is our first home, and we are learning along the way. And one of the things that we have been learning is the importance of making sure the attic functions properly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're with us for the last episode, we talked about some of the reasons why the attic is so important. Now, in this episode, we want to focus in on how anyone, you and us, how really anyone can inspect their own attic and make sure that the attic is functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
So in our podcast today, we're going to go through the details of what you can do to inspect your attic. What we did, what we've learned along the way about inspecting it, maybe even what we found. And then we also want to encourage you to utilize our attic checklist. We have it as an attachment, so you can download a copy of the attic checklist so that you can use it too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what we're going through here is on the checklist, so utilize it. Make sure that you know your home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we're learning to do.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into a little bit about what to look for when you're inspecting your attic. The first thing that we want to talk about is what's the condition of your insulation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you joined us for our last episode, you heard a little bit about our story. So when we inspected the insulation in our attic, we found that there was sufficient insulation. In my opinion, I feel like we could have a little bit more.
Yeah, it's kind of old.
It's old,
Yeah.
and it's a cellulose insulation that's blown in, and you can tell it's deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's deteriorating, it's kind of losing its functionality. It still functions, but it's losing its
purpose.
Its purpose, its insulation power.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, as it deteriorates, it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you remember from our last episode, you want your insulation to be thick.
Right.
It has a certain R value that you want to have that thickness of your insulation in your attic to keep your house well insulated and energy efficient.
Yeah, reduce your energy bill.
Another thing that I found when I was inspecting the insulation upstairs was I found quite a bit of little nests and animal droppings.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you're inspecting your insulation, that's something you want to look for.
Right.
Because it's something that you want to clean up.
Yeah, and it indicates that that animals or pests are getting in somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then you'll need to start looking for where are they getting in, which we'll get to here in a minute. Now, truth be told, we actually have not added more insulation yet.
No.
But, it's definitely on the to-do list, but we don't know what we need to do until we've actually inspected it.
Right.
So getting up into the attic and doing that, the insulation inspection, it's really important because then you really have a to-do list as far as what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ventilation flow.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you looking for when you need to make sure your ventilation is working properly?
Right.
Now, when we checked ours, obviously we could see from the outside without getting up into the attic.
Mm-hmm.
We identified what kind of vents do we have.
Right.
So that's maybe one of the first things you need to do with your home.
Mm-hmm.
You need to identify, do you have a ridge vent?
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have a ridge vent, you should have soffit vents. Now, it's a bit of a problem if you have a ridge vent and you don't have soffit vents.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole science of the airflow is that the air needs to escape out of the ridge vent on the top.
Mm-hmm.
there then needs to be suction from the bottom to pull air up through the soffit vent.
Right.
So you need both.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our home didn't have it.
No.
Natalie, what vents did we have for our home?
For our home? Well, I mean, I know we have, but we don't have a soffit vent because we don't have a ridge vent.
Correct.
I know we have vents for the attic,
Mm-hmm.
and we have vents. I don't know what other vents do we have in the attic. Do you know? 'Cause
They're
you've
at the
been up
two
there.
ends.
Oh, are those gable vents?
They're gable
Oh,
vents.
okay.
That's right. So the gable vents, the way they work is that they allow air to pass through sideways. So when air, like say the wind,
Right.
it blows in from the west, then it pushes the air in the attic out through the east gable vent. So it just
Right.
keeps things moving sideways.
Right.
So those were the type of vents we had. And you remember what happened when we checked them out? We noticed that they weren't open.
Right. So
Yeah.
there was not any cross ventilation happening in the attic.
Yeah. So thankfully, Natalie's grandfather pointed that out to us. He's like, hey, you need to open those
Mm-hmm.
vents. So you need to know that. I mean, so even if you do have vents, you need to make sure that they're open. So that's part of doing the inspection is identifying what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's another type of vent. It's called a mechanical vent. They're not too common where we live in North Carolina, but where I grew up, I saw they were all over where I grew up, and oftentimes it's just like a metal contraption on the roof, and it just lets the air out.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have that.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously need to be cleared, so that's something to inspect to make sure they're working.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, which is Inside Out Express Home Services. So if you live in the Piedmont Triad area, which is Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, we want to recommend Inside Out. Inside Out has over 40 different handyman and cleaning services that you can find on their website, which is insideoutexpress.com. You can browse through their selection of services, and what's really unique about Inside Out is that you can get a quote online on their website. All you need to do is just put in the information about your home and about the services you need, and they give you an instant quote. If you like the price, just go ahead and book it. Book it right there. You pick the day and time that you'd like their service providers to come and do the work. It's super easy. Go ahead and try it on insideoutexpress.com. Okay, let's talk about the roof structure and what we're looking for when we inspect that.
Right.
Now, in our last episode, you might remember Natalie mentioned that when we bought our home, what did we notice right away with the roof structure?
That there was some sagging over the carport.
Yeah. So then when we got into the attic, then we could see why. You want to identify why is there sagging.
Mm-hmm.
So we did an inspection of the rafters. Now, obviously, you don't want to do this all on your own. You should get an inspection, a home inspection.
Right.
And our home inspector did report that on the report.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, most home inspectors will say you need to have a general contractor take a look at it too. So, and that's what we did. So in that inspection, you may need help. You may not be able to do that inspection on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You may need to get advice. But key indicators, if you see something sagging, then obviously you may need to get some advice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about leak detection. So when you're in the attic, where do you look to see if you have leaks?
I guess on maybe the rafters?
Yeah, on the rafters, and you look at the bottom of the decking. So the decking is the underside of the roof. Now, if you have roof insulation, you won't be able to see that, but if you see the decking, you may see moisture. So that obviously means that there's a leak. in the roof. So you need to see that. If you see that there is moisture, you'll need to call a roofing professional
Right.
to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, now pests. Now we talked about this already, but you're looking for any type of indication that there are pests or nests in the roof or in the attic.
Yep.
And then let's talk about wiring. What are we looking for with wiring?
Any exposed wires or cut wires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things that could start fires.
Exactly. So when you're up there, it's good to see if there's any wires that are where the wires are, how they're laid out. If there's any worn wires or the casing, if it's been worn away, or any covers if they're exposed. So that's something to look for there. So that's just in a nutshell what you're looking for when you look to inspect your attic. Let's talk about what do you need before you go up there. Natalie, what do you recommend?
Well, you definitely need ladders if you don't have one. That's like one of those pull-down ladders attached to the attic. You'll definitely want to wear a mask because of the insulation up there. You'll want to bring a flashlight so that you can see, unless there's a light up there. And I know, what else? I can't think of anything else we maybe want to bring up there. It all depends on what work you're going to do up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All of those things, definitely want to have them. I think, I know for me, I got a headlamp, which really helped me out. So that way I had both of my hands free in order to navigate through the attic. Because navigation through the attic is something important we want to mention. Sometimes an attic may have like a plywood floor, and that's fine. But other attics like ours don't have any of that. So you have to walk very carefully on the raft or on the bottom cord of your trusses. So please be careful.
Yeah, that's important.
You don't want to step on the ceiling.
No.
Because what will happen if you step on the ceiling?
You could fall through the roof.
Exactly.
I mean, through the ceiling.
Through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Which, trust me, I know people who that have happened to.
Yeah.
It's happened to. So I won't name names, but yeah. So you definitely want to make sure you're very careful when you're walking in the attic and navigating through it. So that's our episode for today. We want to really dive into the details of what to look for when you're doing your attic inspection. And to help you, what do we have to help?
Yeah, we have a little attic inspection checklist that you can take up into the attic with you. I guess that would be one more thing you'd want to take with you. Or even preview before you get up into the attic, but it's a free downloadable checklist that we have available, and it definitely is nice to have something like that. And it's simple and easy to use.
Yeah, very good. So check that out in the link below, or the link with the podcast. But we also want to hear from you too. So please be sure to give us a comment. Let us know if you have a chance to then inspect your attic. We want to hear from you. What was some of the worst things you discovered when you did your attic inspection? We want to hear from you. I think you heard from our last episode some of the things that I found when we did our attic inspection, but we want to hear from you. What's some of the craziest things that you found? Well, we want to thank you again for joining us for this episode of New Homeowner 101. Please join us for the next episode. And again, we want to hear from you, so drop a comment in the comments section. All right. Well, we hope to see you in our next episode. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.